Are you looking for all the latest pro football news and content? Of course you are. Who doesn't love football? The question is, how do you get all the latest pro football news and content? There's so many different pro football podcasts on the internet. Which one do you choose? Which one is the right fit for you? Well, you go with the Across the Middle Show, one of the fastest growing football podcasts out right now. Over the past year, we've climbed the Spotify rankings, become a show you have to listen to if you're a football fan. Find out the Ravens will go all the way with Odell Beckham Jr. Find out if the Eagles did enough to make it back to the Super Bowl. You'll get all of our best stories for just $1 per month. All you have to do is sign up by clicking the link in the episode description box. So we have two stories for you today. The first story is, are the Bills getting worse? The second story is Patrick Mahomes turning the Chiefs into a dynasty? Let's start with, are the Bills getting worse? To me, the Bills are getting worse. I think that playoff game against the Bengals was very telling. You know, it's a home game for the Bills. Yeah, it was snowing, but the Bengals just went into the Bills' home stadium and roughed them up. They were so physical. The Bills didn't really stand a chance. You know, halfway through the third quarter, the Bills only had 7 points. You know, the Bills are supposed to have this high-scoring offense, this high-octane offense with Josh Allen. Well, that day, it wasn't there. And the Bengals were just much better than them. It's the simplest way to put it. The Bengals were much better than the Bills were that day. And you really saw two teams that are going in the opposite directions. You know, the Bengals are getting better. The Bills are getting worse. You know, Buffalo is supposed to have this great offense with Josh Allen. It was non-existent. It didn't look good. You know, there's been moments throughout Josh Allen's time there where even though Josh Allen's a great player, the execution just hasn't been there for the Bills offense. I don't know if you want to put it on the coordinator or what, but, you know, they just haven't executed as well as they should have. And, you know, sure, Josh Allen has a lot of talent and he uplifts that offense, but, you know, they just haven't executed good enough. It's not like, you know, the Chiefs offense. It's not even like the Bengals offense where they just execute much better. Wasn't good enough for the Bills. Then you look at the other side of the ball, you know, they get roughed up by the Bengals offense. And, you know, then Tremaine Edmonds leaves. So you have a defense that gets roughed up, then Tremaine Edmonds leaves. You can already tell they're going to take a step backwards. And the physicality is a problem for me. They lack physicality. They're not a physical team. They should be much more physical, especially if you're competing for Super Bowls. If this is your Super Bowl window, you have to be a more physical team. You have to be able to punish some teams. Instead, they took a punch from the Bengals. The Bengals look like a team that's much more qualified to win a Super Bowl than the Bills. So, yeah, I think the Bills are getting worse. I don't think the Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs drama is going to help anything either. Remember, Stephon Diggs was basically cussing Josh Allen out after the game because he was upset with the lack of targets, the lack of receptions, and just the fact that, you know, Josh Allen didn't get him the ball enough in that game. You know, you talk about a game with everything riding on the line in that Bills versus Bengals game, and Stephon Diggs wasn't involved like he should have been. You know, obviously he was upset. It carried over to now in the offseason. There's still a little bit of tension there. You can already feel it. And, you know, that could become combustible if things don't go well for the Bills or if things don't add up. So, yeah, I think there's some serious concerns with the Bills. I think they're regressing. I think they're going backwards. I don't think they're going to be as good on defense without Tremaine Edmonds. You're talking about a really good linebacker that made a lot of plays to that defense. And he was the guy that provided some physicality for that defense. You know, he's a physical player that could knock the snot out of some players. And he's not going to be there anymore. He's with the Bears now. I think that hurts them. There's just some serious concerns for the Bills. I do think they're going backwards. I don't think Josh Allen has been good enough in the playoffs for how good he's been in the regular season. And he's had some good moments in the playoffs, but overall, not good enough in the playoffs. Hasn't rose to the occasion. Hasn't got to the Super Bowl like he should have. You know, you look at the opposite sideline in that game against the Bengals. You know, Joe Burrow has got the Bengals to a Super Bowl. And, he went to a really bad team, turned them around, got them to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen hasn't been able to do that, hasn't had that much success in the playoffs like he should have, for how talented he is at quarterback. Hasn't been as good as Burrow has in the playoffs, hasn't been as good as Mahomes has in the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm not seeing it from the Bills. Some people think they're the team to look at this year, the team that could go win it all. I'm not seeing it. I see a team that's going in the wrong direction. I see a team that's going backwards. I see the undertones between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Some frustration there growing between the two just because, they haven't been able to put it all together and they feel like they have the team to win it all. It's really Stephon Diggs frustrated with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is trying to smooth the situation over, but it's already gotten to the point where it's came to a head last year. So where does it go from there? Like I said, if things don't go well, Stephon Diggs could be, really upset with Josh Allen and we could see a total meltdown. Believe me, it's very possible, especially if they underperform in the playoffs again. I don't think the Bills are anywhere near beating the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs would smoke the Bills. I think the Bengals are better than the Bills. So, yeah, I'm worried about the Buffalo Bills. I just don't think they have it. I think they're getting worse. I think they lost a key piece in Tremaine Edmonds. I think there's tension between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. I think Gabe Davis didn't improve as much as he should have, when he really tore it up in the playoffs a couple of years ago. I think, he should have been able to progress a little bit more than he did. That didn't really pan out like the Bills thought it was going to pan out. That's hurting them a little bit too because they thought he was going to be a superstar opposite of Stephon Diggs, almost to the point where it might start taking some targets away from Stephon Diggs. That really wasn't the case. Gabe Davis struggled with some drops. Yeah, I'm not totally sold on the Bills. Sean McDermott, a defensive coach, very good on the defense side of the ball, but that offense is clearly lacking. The offense, for all the talent Josh Allen has, wasn't good enough in that game against the Bills. Like I said, 7 points halfway through the third quarter in their home stadium with everything riding on the line. That doesn't spell Super Bowl team to me. It spells a team that is getting worse and starting to unravel a little bit. The next story we have is Patrick Mahomes turning the Chiefs into a dynasty. I think this is a no-brainer. Patrick Mahomes is turning the Chiefs into a dynasty. I mean, he's made it to 3 Super Bowls. He's won 2 of them. 2 Super Bowls, is entering dynasty territory. The guy is a gamer who always backs it up, always gets it done. Different level, just a winner in every sense of the word. Patrick Mahomes is a guy that delivers, and the things that him and Travis Kelce do are really the foundation of all these Super Bowl teams. It's really Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and then everyone else, Marquez Valdes-Scantling last year, Juju Smith-Schuster. They were the role players in this whole thing, but the things that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce do are just, it's insane. The year that Travis Kelce had last year, I mean, he was just dominant from start to finish, just playing on another level, making so many catches over the middle. How many times did he find the end zone? So many big plays when the Chiefs needed it. Pumped life into that team on every 3rd and long situation. Just abused linebackers. Patrick Mahomes and him just they're cut from a different cloth, and they deserve to be recognized as a team that's on the cusp of being a dynasty because they bring it like no one else brings it. And when you do that, you start getting that respect because you backed it up on the field. That's what the Chiefs have done. And sure, they've lost some key players. They lose Orlando Brown. They lose Andrew Wiley. Both those guys stepped up in that Super Bowl against a very tough Eagles defensive front. So to see Orlando Brown go to the Bengals, that's tough for them because that's a rival. To see Andrew Wiley go to the Commanders, that's tough for the Chiefs because Andrew Wiley balled out in that Super Bowl. The Chiefs are obviously going to miss those two guys. And when the Chiefs weren't able to win a Super Bowl and when they struggled a little bit is when Patrick Mahomes didn't have protection. Remember, they reloaded that offensive line. That's how they went on to win that Super Bowl. They got it done because they could protect Patrick Mahomes, especially against that Eagles defensive front. That was just, remember, they destroyed Brock Purdy against the 49ers in that playoff game. So can the Chiefs, plug in some backups and make them starters and turn them into key guys for this offensive line so Patrick Mahomes has time to scan the field so he can create the magic that he always does when he can, see what's going on down the field? If the Chiefs can block for Patrick Mahomes and give him time, they're going to be fine. Now, if that pocket starts collapsing and Patrick Mahomes is, running for his life, like we've seen him do sometimes, there's sometimes, when the pocket isn't holding up for the Chiefs, he's getting flushed out of the pocket, he's trying to throw on the run. That's when it doesn't really play to the Chiefs' strengths. When he can stay in the pocket and just scan the field, that's when the Chiefs are in good shape. And we didn't think the Chiefs' offensive line was going to hold up that well against that Eagles defensive front. And then on game day, it was the complete opposite. The Chiefs won at the line of scrimmage because of Orlando Brown, because of Andrew Wiley. Those guys are no longer there. So we'll see if the Chiefs can, give Patrick Mahomes some protection. Now, the good news is Andy Reid is so good at drawing up his protections, knows when to slide left, slide right, knows when to max protect, knows when to keep his running back home or to have his running back run a flare pass out of the backfield. Those are the adjustments that Andy Reid is so good at, the fine details of the game on the offensive side of the ball that make the Chiefs just another level on the offensive side of the ball. We talk about the Bills not having the coordination that they need on the offensive side of the ball. Well, the Chiefs have that. They're basically the best team when it comes to offensive coordination. The only one that's really close is, I'd say the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan, but it's all Andy Reid. The guy is just on another level. The things he does is flat out amazing. The Super Bowl was the perfect example of it, being able to match up with all those great defenders that the Eagles had and just neutralize them. He completely neutralized that pass rush to the point where the Eagles were on their heels taking punches, and that wasn't supposed to be the case. We all thought the Eagles were going to have a slight advantage at the line of scrimmage, but Andy Reid can just game plan like no other, so he's going to keep them in the hunt. Patrick Mahomes is going to keep them in the hunt. They're going to have a real shot at winning another Super Bowl. It's all going to come down to the offensive line. Can the offensive line hold up without Orlando Brown or Andrew Wiley? That's what we have to figure out. We'll know early on in the season where they're at. Are they even close to what they were? Can they hold up? If Patrick Mahomes is getting hit a lot, if he's getting sacked a lot, if he's taking a beating, we'll know that there might be a little trouble on the horizon. But if it's the same old Chiefs and they just plug in the next guy up and they're right there to what they were in the past, then you can expect the Chiefs to be in the hunt again and be close to winning another Super Bowl. I'm John Kuzma. That's all I got for the Cross the Middle Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sign up for $1 a month to keep the pro football updates coming. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.